stampers. Today I'm going to show you how to use blender pens and aqua painters. So we'll be using the stamp set Petal Potpourri. We're going to use this stamp out of it. Looks like this. And I stamped the image twice onto our watercolor paper. Now if you're using the blender pens, you can also use our regular cardstock, but you have to be a little bit careful about it doing what we call pilling. I do not recommend you use the regular paper. If you're going to be using the aqua painters, it'll be too wet. You really need the consistency of our watercolor paper. So I stamped the image twice so I can show you it both with the aqua painter and the watercolor pen. So I'm going to be using crushed curry and pumpkin pie. And you're going to need to squish up so that you get right here what we call an ink well. So you just take your ink pad and you can just do like this, and you're going to get your little ink well there. And you're going to do the same thing with your pumpkin pie. Squish, 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 or smush, 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 however you want to do it. And I like a really good, and if you even, I know demonstrators who'll even put a little drop of ink in there from their ink refills if they want even a little bit more consistency. All right, the first time I'm going to show you is with our aqua painters. So we have two different tips. We have a fine tip and we have a fatter tip, as you can see. We're going to be using the fine tip, and as you can see, I've already been practicing and I have a little orange on there. So I'm going to want to get that off. So I'm going to squeeze it out, and then I'm going to wipe off my tip. And that's so that you can use it with multiple colors at multiple times. You have to be really careful with the aqua painters, because if you squeeze too much on your paper, then you can just get what I call a hot mess, a lot of water. So I want to have an orange center, so I'm going to get just a little bit there. And I'm just going to start coloring. And I'm going to do outside in. And you don't really have to keep going back, but I want a little darker on the outside. So I'm going to go over it, and then I'm going to just kind of blend it in. Now I may let that dry a little bit, and I may come back and put a little darker around the edge, or maybe even a couple of dark in the center. All right, now you see I need to squeeze it out. Get my tip nice and clean. And it is. All right, now I'm going to use the crushed curry. And I'm going to just start on the edge. Do like so. And it looks like that. I love using the aqua painters for like background scenes, for like water and sky. I think that it really gives more of a watercolor effect with the aqua painters. Now I'm going to want to come back, and I want to darken up some places here. And it may not quite be dry enough. No, it's going to work. All right, so I want a few darker places. So I'm going to come back. There we go. I want that to be darker. And when your inkwell here gets too wet or and not enough dark color, you just go back and smush it up again. All right, so there's kind of an example. So let's go back and darken up our orange, our pumpkin pie. So again, I cleaned out my tip. I'm going to go back, and I want to just darken up. I could even just darken up a few places if I wanted to. And you want to be careful again about squeezing, because you can squeeze too much and you can really have a runny mess. All right, so there's an example of how to use the aqua painters. All right, let's do the same thing with our blender pens. I'm going to close these up, and I'm going to do another smush so I have a nice clean surface there. Now, if you'll notice, some of my my blender pens look really ugly on the ends, but that's okay. As long as you clean out your tip. So see, this one still had yellow on it, so I just need to keep doing it until it runs clear. And now it's clear. All right, so we'll start with the yellow. And we're just going to start just kind of like we did with the Aqua painter, only this time we're using the blender pen. And color it in. Now if I want just to start just a little edge here, and I want this edge dark too. Now I want to come in here and just blend it out. And blend it out like that. Now if I want to come back, let's come back, I make the same thing. Make this darker. And I can even go up here because I still have plenty of ink on my pen. And when it starts getting too light, like that, you just go back and get some more in there. And again, I may need to ink up my well, so I have more in my little smushed area, my well. All right, so now I'm gonna do the orange. I gotta clean out my brush tip on my blender pen. All right. With both of these, it just kind of depends the look you're going for. I think the Aqua painter, my personal thought is that the Aqua painter lends itself a little bit more for more of a watercolor effect, and the blender pen lends itself more for a colored effect. And I can come in here. Notice I'm just kind of getting lighter as I go in. And if I decide I want that outside darker again, I come in and I darken it up. All right, so I start here and here's finished. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I hope that if you have a chance, you always stamp.